Our next guest is known around the world as the Money Coach. Lynnette joins us again on the program. And Lynnette, I got to ask, when you get invited to a party, does everyone corner you and just ask you about money?
I've literally been on cruise ships and had people ask me for advice. So yes, that does happen to me, and I actually love it because I'm kind of a money geek, and I love to talk personal finances, so it doesn't bother me at all.
And Lynnette, what is the economic trend that we're seeing, particularly when it comes to home buying?
I think we're looking right now at the spring season coming upon us and seeing there's about to be a lot of robust activity. A recent Chase home buyer survey found that 3 out of 10 Americans said that they plan to buy a home within the next 18 months. And 70% of them said that spring in particular and summer are great times to buy. So we're going to see a lot of people moving off the sidelines and saying, I'm going to make the leap. I'm going to go from being a renter to a homeowner, or maybe I'm going to trade up, or maybe I'm going to refinance a home. I expect to see a lot more activity, certainly in Atlanta as well.
Lynnette, you're known as the Money Coach. So what's your advice to new buyers?
Well, I tell people to do a couple things if they're thinking about preparing themselves for home ownership. One is to make sure that they act on information and not emotion, and you don't want to overpay for a house, right? So the Chase survey found that 70% of people were worried about having missed out on the opportunity to buy a home at the best price. But don't let those kind of fears make you overpay. So get comps, make sure that you really understand pricing in a marketplace, make sure that you know how quickly homes are moving in your particular region. And then you want to do smart things like get pre-qualified for a mortgage. Most people do in fact need a mortgage in order to purchase a home and to finish the transaction. And that pre-qualification will do 2 things for you. First, it'll help the whole mortgage process go a lot more smoothly and faster. But key, it'll also make you a more strong buyer, a more seasoned buyer, that is a more experienced buyer in the eyes of the seller, because they know you're serious if you've taken the time to get pre-qualified. So that requires a little bit of homework on your part. You have to get those documents in order and, show a lender your income statements, your bank records, your W-2, maybe your recent paycheck stubs, that kind of thing. But it's so worth it in the long run. If you're thinking about, that you want to buy a house or trade up, get a bigger house, or maybe refinance a mortgage, that kind of thing, you're going to have those financial records in order.
And Lynnette, why is Chase such a great partner to work with?
Well, one of the reasons that I'm super happy to work with Chase is because they understand the value of educating consumers about the home buying process. And so certainly if you check out chase.com/mynewhome, for example, you'll find lots of great resources, tips and tools for people to use, calculators, videos, information about the pros and the cons of buying homes versus renting, because buying is not for everybody. Certainly I'm telling people that if you know you're going to be there for a while, certainly 5 years, 6, 7 years, maybe up 10 years or more, then yes, buying is typically a better option. But if you think, hey, I might plan to only live here for 2 or 3 years, then renting might actually be a better option. Again, you have to evaluate, look at the pros and cons of everything, understand the tax implications involved. Certainly with home ownership, you get that mortgage interest deduction. That's a great benefit. I love that as a homeowner. You also get to write off your property taxes. So you have to kind of keep in mind some of this stuff. Ultimately, for those who aren't in the market, it's going to come down to a decision, rent versus buy. And we know that a lot of people are starting to see rising rental prices. In fact, the survey showed that 20% of all prospective homebuyers said that rising rental rates was actually the #1 reason that is pushing them to want to buy. So that's a factor. Low interest rates are in the mix, of course. People are attracted to home ownership when they see the historically low interest rates that we've had recently. So you got to look at everything. You got to do your homework. You got to educate yourself. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to promote what I feel like is the good part of home ownership, happy, successful home ownership, and certainly home ownership that is sustainable for many, many years, decades, if not generations to come.
Well, Money Coach, you've done a great job. Thank you for the great advice and stopping by and sharing some time with us.
Thank you so much, Conn. Appreciate you having me.